Hi guys, welcome to the Sports Rap podcast. I'm your host Gilbert Gonzalez Jr. And in front of me, I have my dad as my co-host today. Well, actually, he's been my co-host. We're without Vinny, just for today. My dad was telling me that he has a job now. He has a job. I'm very happy for Vinny.
Yeah, we all are.
Yeah.
He's all excited about it too, but he wished he could be here. But he did let me know to not to let you overdo the show with only football. So he wanted me to put in some baseball today as well. So he's still here
In spirit.
in spirit. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so let's just get right to the topics here. So sports headlines. The Dodgers, starting with baseball, the Dodgers have clinched their 7th consecutive NL West title. They beat the Baltimore Oilers 7-3 on Tuesday night. And, they were the only era, ever since the divisional era, only the Braves and the New York Yankees have most consecutive crowns for their NL East titles from 1991 to 2005. The Yankees were American League East champs 9 years running from 1998 to 2006. And now the Dodgers have joined those two teams as to be in that consecutive
category.
Category,
those two teams that you mentioned, Junior, are they were great teams. I mean, you're talking about World Series champions. I remember the Atlanta Braves in that particular streak that they were on. They had the best bullpen that I've ever seen. I mean, starting Maddox, Smoltz, Tom Glavine, Steve Avery. They were just unstoppable. The Yankees, their best were their power hitters. You know, back then they had Tino Martinez, Posada, Bernie Williams, Derek Jeter. They had all the top guys. So my hat's off to the Dodgers. I'm not a big Dodger fan, but they did it. My hat's off to them, and it couldn't have been against any better team. The Baltimore Orioles. They're the worst team in Major League Baseball history.
Yeah.
So that made it pretty easy for them. But congrats to the Dodgers. I think now they should turn their focus now into trying to clinch that home field advantage in the National League playoff race.
Yeah, on their standings, they lead the National League with 95 wins, 53. Right behind is the Atlanta Braves with 91. St. Louis with 82 and Washington Nationals at 81. These two teams between the Cardinals and the Nationals, they are competing for a wild card spot, right? Actually, they're in the wild card, except for like the Cubs and the Brewers are also competing for that.
Yeah, the St. Louis Cardinals are already they haven't clinched. The Dodgers are the only team to clinch their division.
Mm-hmm.
St. Louis is in first place. Washington is in first place in their division. The Cubs and the Milwaukee Brewers are competing, but don't scratch the Mets out. The Mets, they're making a big comeback, but they have it difficult because now they face the Dodgers. They're facing the Dodgers these next like 4 games. So they might just be short.
Okay. Yeah, because I forgot that they have five playoff teams that can make the playoffs.
Correct,
right?
yeah.
5 teams that can make the playoffs, and you have already. If it ended today, like if the playoffs were to start tomorrow,
today,
it would be Dodgers Dodgers going against either the Cubs or the Brewers,
or the Milwaukee
right?
Brewers.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Atlanta Braves going against
Washington.
Okay.
It would be Washington. Yeah. Right.
Wait.
No.
No. Wait. I'm sorry. It's Atlanta and St. Louis, right?
Correct.
Okay. So then the Nationals and the Cubs would be.
That's right.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
National
right.
and the Cubs. Then
And
the
then
winner
the
would
winner
go.
of that one will go
to the
and
Dodgers.
face the Dodgers. Yeah.
Okay. There we go. And then also in the American League, you have the New York Yankees at 97 wins, and Houston Astros with 95, Minnesota with 89, the A's and the Rays both at 87. They're also looking at try to compete for the wild card.
Yeah,
as well.
It's so surprising to me because I've always felt that the American League, and I've made it clear to you guys, both you guys, that American League to me are the best.
Yeah, with all these powerhouse teams.
Nobody has clinched yet. The Yankees have 97 wins and they have not clinched. That's amazing. Only because Tampa Bay is in second place in the AL East and they're right behind them. I mean, they're 10 games out from first place.
Yeah, but
But
anything like in those 10
anything,
games
yeah,
could
exactly, exactly.
be like
They
10
they could
games
go
in a
on a
row.
streak.
Okay, but how come Red Sox couldn't do that?
I don't know. The Red Sox
I'm
are.
a big Red Sox fan, just in case
Yeah,
if you guys.
yeah.
I'm all Boston except for basketball. I like the Denver Nuggets.
It's
But
same
yeah.
thing. Same thing with Houston and Oakland. Oakland is to me. I think they made a big improvement on their team every year for like the past 5 years. They're just always the creeper. You know, they're always the ones outside look. They're on the outside looking in. But now, I think I think they have the talent to make a playoff statement this season. Of course, my Indians, you know, they're half game out of the wild card. Um, with the loss, we've had a couple losses. We're getting our pitching back, but so are other teams in the American League that were missing their pitching. So I just hope they make a last playoff push because I believe there's only uh, there's only like 14, 15 games left in the year. So
Yeah, the playoffs is already coming in like in a couple of weeks already, and the Indians they have like a really good home record, 43-29. Solar with the away record as well with 43-32. So it could possibly they have to at least have the A's or the Rays to have like like it's something like a 2-game 3-game losing streak.
yeah.
So the Indians could get up there
Yeah,
in the wild card
they
spot.
need something to happen. They need a little help. They need a little help. So, I obviously I'm an Indians fan. So yeah, with the help, I need a little help from the other teams.
Oh, okay. And do you think this could be the year that the Dodgers finally win a World Series?
Oh man, yeah,
Is this
I
the year?
know they've gone. I mean, 3 consecutive World Series appearances by this team. They say 3 times is a charm, but you know what? You know, honestly, because of the All Star game, I believe the American League has home field advantage through the World Series. Dodgers road record is atrocious. They are bad on the road. They're 59-20 at home. They're 39-33 on the road. They're a subpar 500 team on the road. I mean, honestly, on paper, you're looking at Yankees Dodgers.
I think it would break records on
Oh,
television.
definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And you're looking at Dodgers, Yankees. Yankees are 44-29 on the road. They're 53-22 on the road. They're a good road team. They're a good home team. The Dodgers have to get it together and just play better on the road. And and I think that's the only Achilles heel that's going to stop them from getting that World Series crown.
Man, they're halfway becoming the Buffalo Bills. How the Buffalo Bills
Yeah,
made it to the
exactly.
Super Bowl
They've gone
4 times.
4 times.
They all lost 4 times.
And there's
That-
4 losses. Here we go. We got Vinny here.
Vinny,
All right, Vinny.
decided to creep up. So, Vinny, we're talking about how the Los Angeles Dodgers clinched their 7th consecutive division. The Division West champs again. And I was just saying that. excuse me. That is this going to be the year that they finally win a World Series after appearing in 2?
3.
Oh, 3. 3 and 2. Yeah, 2.
Yeah, 2 consecutive. I feel like this is probably the easiest ride to the World Series for the Dodgers. The only team I would say they would have to really worry about is Atlanta. Atlanta's a very skilled team with a pretty good rotation, and their lineup is outstanding. I think in the AL, I have a feeling for Houston because that rotation is just sick. You got Verlander, Greinke, and Garrett Cole. And the pitching for the Yankees, they've been struggling all season, but I feel like their aces are finally coming back into form. Paxton's getting better. They have Saravino coming back. Yeah, and their bullpen is still pretty solid. I mean, Zach Britton. I mean, even Artius Chapman and the reliever that they got from Ottavino. So their bullpen, those 3 guys, the setup and the closer Chapman, that's just sick, you know. But I feel like also Yeah, the AL. I think it's gonna be between two of those teams, both teams, the Yankees and Houston. And I think the Dodgers have an easy ride. All they have to worry about is Atlanta again. So
Okay. All right. So moving on. Later. This past week. So I hate the doctors. I hate going to the doctors. They use some weird, big name terminology, for like sickness and all that stuff, right? So I'm watching, ESPN or whatever, and they said that they reported that Sam Darnold has mononucleosis. Tell me why I had to search that up because I have no idea what mononucleosis is. I have no idea.
I didn't even know that still existed. I mean, I really heard a mono when I was in high school. It's like herpes in the mouth. That's what it is. That's what basically it is. But, dude, that's still around. Are you kidding me? Like somebody could still get mono?
I've never heard of that term, but yeah. So Sam Darnold is definitely out with that. Adam Gase just, did you guys see his press conference about it? Like his body language just wasn't good. Like he just wasn't like he just felt like he had no hope with his backup. Is Trevor Siemian, who's 13-11 as a starter. So he has a decent winning record, but with him, he was just like, yeah, Sam Darnold's out with mono. Trevor's our quarterback.
Wow.
And that's that. It was just something like that. Like he didn't, like, I don't know, like if he just felt like his season was already over.
Now we're going to see if what you say, Gil, what we've argued about for months now, if Le'Veon Bell has talent. Now we are now finally gonna find out, can he carry a team on his back? Because that's what they're gonna count on. That's what they signed him for.
Okay, but before anybody just doesn't think that I believe that he has talent, I'm saying what he meant to say was that Le'Veon Bell is a talented running back. Okay. When he was with Pittsburgh, that O-line was just beast. Now, my dad didn't believe me about having Pittsburgh has one of the greatest, has a great O-line in those couple of years. And now he goes to a Jets offense that their O-line is, I wouldn't compare it to Pittsburgh's O-line, okay? So I was telling him that the O-line made Le'Veon great. Now this is what he meant by saying if Le'Veon is just going to be carrying the team on his back now. Now, I think Le'Veon is a great running back, but with the Jets team, I'm iffy about it. So this is what's going to be on they play on Monday, right? Monday night against the Browns to see if Le'Veon can actually be the Le'Veon how he was in Pittsburgh after taking the year off. For holding on his contract.
Keep in point that Le'Veon did have a shoulder injury, but on Thursday, he missed practice on Thursday to get an MRI. But today, Adam Gase said he's good to go for week 2. So there's there's no reason to think that, he'll be, playing hurt. But, I think they're going to have to put, especially on Sunday, they're going to have to give the ball to Le'Veon a lot. They're missing their starting quarterback. Now it's Trevor Siemian, who is all right, but he's also going to be missing his third target in Quincy Anua. He's also hurt.
Yeah, he's out for the year with a neck injury, right?
Yeah, with the neck injury. So still up in the air. The first guy on the Jets receiving core, it's still
Demaryius Thomas,
Crowder, Robinson. Now they have a new player, Demaryius, which the Patriots gave up for a 6th-rounder. So it's going to be interesting to see who they're going to put the pass game more on. What do you think?
Well, I think, a lot of, when Demaryius came to the Jets, there were a lot of doubts that he was either too old or, Simeon was passing to Demaryius Thomas.
I know,
in
when
Denver,
he was with Denver.
In Denver. So they already have a rapport,
Mm-hmm.
We saw the game that Jamison Crowder had last week. He had 14 receptions.
Mm-hmm.
For 99, but it was only 99 yards, but he's the slant guy. I'm going to tell anybody who owns Jamison Crowder in a fantasy league, play him this week. only because Simeon is going to hand the ball to Bell, in my opinion, and he's going to go short. He's going to have to go short. I think he's been out of the game a little bit. Travis Simeon, he's been out of the game just a little bit, to the point where I think he's going to be just a little nervous to go downfield. The only person that I think would be the one to go downfield with is Demaryius Thomas, and I'm thinking that Cleveland is going to be covering him pretty well. So I have a hunch that Jamison Crowder is going to have another great game, just like he did last week.
Well, I hope you're right about that because
You're starting Crowder? Or?
no, I don't have him. I have.
But yeah, Demaryius Thomas and Trevor Simeon, they do have a good rapport. So I'm thinking,
And they're the same head coach
either
too?
way, and the
Adam
same
Gase.
head coach, yeah.
Okay. Vinny, you want anything to add before we move on to the Saints and Rams?
Can we talk about Cleveland?
Well, actually, we have that set up already.
Oh, we have that? Okay.
Yeah.
So, yes, let's move on. Let's move on.
Okay, so NFL key matchups. The Saints against the Rams. And the Saints have been waiting for this matchup for a year. Ever since that NFC title game where the referees didn't even think they were just blind or they got paid or something. But it was a clear passing interference.
And head-to-head contact, too.
Yeah.
Helmet to helmet.
Yeah. So now Saints are looking to get revenge in L.A. against the Rams. So we'll see how that matchup is. The Saints' defense were very, very terrible against the Texans last week. So Jared Goff is looking to bounce back from a game that he was also terrible. Looking to bounce back this week, trying to get a second win for the Rams. Are we going to see Todd Gurley being limited as how he was last week, or actually, what do you think?
Dude, Gurley was limited last week?
It sounded well. It
Wow.
looked like he was.
He
limited
was
last
good. He was good.
Was good?
Yeah, okay. I'm just being sarcastic about that. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, okay, okay, gotcha,
he was
gotcha.
limited, yes, but
Gotcha.
he looked good. I don't think they have any reason why not to unleash him. I've always been the one to always be the guy against these contracts. When a quarterback signs a contract, you know the way I am.
Yeah.
I always
Follow-
think
the following year.
following year they blow it.
Mhm.
Kind of like my thinking, I saw it in the Rams game last week with Jared Goff. Jared Goff just signed a $134 million deal, and he throws for 147 yards. And did he have a touchdown pass?
Yeah, he did.
Oh, God, jeez.
And a pick.
He did?
1-1.
Yeah, 1-1.
He had 1-1.
It doesn't look like it.
I mean, terrible. Just
He had the tight end Higbee.
and was it
Oh,
right?
yeah.
147 yards? Is that all he had?
186 yards.
186 yards.
9%
Jeez.
Mm.
Okay, that's not a $134 million quarterback. And I understand it was a first game. He probably didn't see any that much preseason action. Okay, fine. But you just came out. I mean, you should have came out of the gate ready to go. I mean, you're the franchise's future. You have no stress on you whatsoever because you're already getting paid. Get the job done. They did get a win. They squeaked out a win, I should say, against Carolina last week. But Goff was not the Goff that I think most people expected. As far as the game of the week, yes, New Orleans has been waiting a long time because of there were like 10 penalties on that one hit. I mean, any of those 10 penalties could have.
The whole play just looked wrong. The whole
Yeah.
thing.
The whole thing. I mean, there were so many penalties on that one play, and not one was called. Give me a break. But New Orleans looked good. They looked good. Kamara looked wow. He looked unstoppable, dude. And even Breeze. How old did he turn back the clock? 20 years. He looks fantastic. So I just have I have the Saints winning.
I also too.
Not by a lot. I think it's gonna be a high scoring game, but not by a lot. But I think it's more the they have more like rage, and they just want to unleash
revenge.
it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they just want to
They want
unleash it.
revenge.
And I'm glad these teams played. Are they gonna play? No, they only play once,
only
but
play once.
they're gonna see each other again this year in the playoffs. And I
But here's the
think
thing that sucks. Why does it have to be on week 2? Like we were discussing it, like maybe like
some
2
of these good matchups have been on, the first
early
few
weeks. Yeah,
early weeks.
I wish they could. I don't know how they do their schedules.
Mm-hmm.
Like New England and Kansas City. That's in the end of by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Like week 14, week 15. This matchup could be ended like that. So then that way, playoffs are coming.
You can see like some playoff previews.
Yeah. Plus
Kinda like
and the
that.
seedings.
Oh, yeah,
the
seedings
first
too,
2
yeah.
seedings. So
Have you
something
guys-
like that.
Have you guys seen the over/under on this game?
No.
It's 52. It's a 52 over and under, and yeah. When I saw the calendar drop, when I saw the schedules for both teams drop, and I saw they were both playing each other in week 2, I couldn't wait to tell you the truth. I didn't expect the Rams to play as bad as they did against Carolina. It was their game against Carolina was pretty messy. They got ran over by McCaffrey, and it's a shame that,
Telling you that defense is old, man.
yeah,
That defense is getting
it
older.
Looks sloppy. Goff looks sloppy, but the running game looked great. Gurley looked great. Brown had those 2 touchdowns. Gurley, yards per gain average was around 6.9, so that's like almost 7 yards a carry. He was great. Brown, Malcolm Brown, he had 4.8. That's another, a good gain. That's another 5 yards. But I feel like New Orleans is going to take this one. Man, Breeze, Thomas, they were clicking like if the offseason never happened. Like they were back in the playoffs, man. Kamara clicked. Another player who was great but not really talked about was Ted Ginn. He had over 100 yards on the air for 7 receptions. That's pretty good. That's like Carolina numbers for Ted Ginn. Kamara, 7 receptions, 72 yards. Another productive receiving game for him.
Taysom Hill, I don't know his catches, but he did get a touchdown.
Yeah, he did.
That dude is like, I think he's a very underrated player. Underrated player.
The gimmick player. But New Orleans looked great in that Houston game, even though the defense looked kind of out of whack. But they were playing a very talented offense, and I feel like that's not going to happen as much against the Rams. How Goff struggled, and but the running game is going to have a terrific game. But I feel like all around the Saints are the better team, and I think they're going to win this one.
You think you're going to see like some Rams fans actually troll on the Saints? You see some signs out there. You see like, what do you like?
Maybe
the way
not. Maybe not. But I'm going to see a ton of trash talk if the Rams win. Maybe from the Rams fans saying like, "Oh, we didn't even need a pass interference to beat you guys. Could we just beat you guys right now?" Or something like that.
Oh man,
But,
I think it would be a bittersweet victory for the Saints.
Yeah, it would be.
I think it would be a very bittersweet.
Yeah, I think you are gonna see some trolling. The whole review thing, the review rule has a lot to do with. It has everything to do
with this game.
with last year's game. So people who are not only upset about that, because I'm sitting right next to a person who's very, very.
Yeah,
I don't really
does
like it.
not like this rule at all. Like every single game we watch, even when the rule is not being used, he complains about it. So how do you do? The rule is not even being used, and he's already complained about it. Because and I know a lot of people share his view on it. A lot of people do not like this rule. So I think with everybody, not only the Rams fans, but also non-fans of this new rule, they're going to be trolling the Saints because of that as well, because they are the main reason why this rule is in effect this year.
They only use it. Do they only use it once?
Yeah,
Is it once per game?
Yeah, it's one per game. One
One
challenge
challenge?
game. Yeah, I think so. I mean, it kind of takes out like the human in refereeing. I think, because you're bound in football. You are bound, the referee to make a mistake. It's in every game. A bad call happens. It's every game. I can even ask Andrew, because he had experience in high school football, how many times he was like held and nothing was called. He'd probably say most of the time. You know,
Yeah,
a lot of players, a lot of guards admit that. Yeah, I hold because I don't want them to hit my quarterback. But with this challenge thing, is that gonna kind of take that away from the players? You know, pass interferences. I mean, they also got to be fixed. Catching, that has to be fixed because I feel like these rules are a little too vague. Instead of putting in a new camera where a new review challenge thing, why don't you just define what's a catch? Not this. He wasn't a runner. He didn't take like 3 steps or something like that. Like, it's too vague. Like, it's too like decisive. It's too like, oh, what does the referee think is a catch? It has to be. We have to know it's a catch too, not just the ref, because the ref can see it differently than us.
Yeah, we were watching football this week, and we saw a lot of plays that were like ridiculous. Like they were being challenged. Like, for example, perfect example was Derrick Henry. He had that 75-yard touchdown run, untouched, but they reviewed it. Why?
Didn't they think that he would have stepped out of bounds?
Why? He was not even close. He wasn't even close, bro. It was that's
too long.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what
3
we
hours.
were saying.
3 hours is already enough.
We were looking at the replay. We were like, "What the hell are they looking at?" And then they said he wants to make sure they wasn't out of bounds. He was like 2 yards in bounds. I'm like, "Why are you? What are they trying to find?" And that's why he doesn't like it. That's what they're saying. Like these reviews. I mean, you take away the human eye from a sport that I think it was good the way it was. Yeah, you make mistakes. Hey, that's the way, and that also, like, some of the players before, I know they did flops. These flops. Guys flop and they get called. They don't get called, but now that takes that away. And it's like, that was kind of entertaining about the NFL when you would see guys flopping.
Yeah. But okay, so we all said Saints, right? We all said the Saints are going to win this game.
I think, Pop, you said it was going to be kind of low scoring, kind of.
No, I said
high scoring. He said a high scoring.
Oh, he said high scoring. Okay, my bad. Yeah, the over under is ridiculous. 52. It's just wow.
It'll be 55 by Sunday.
You think so? It'll be 55.
If it's 52 now.
Yeah,
normally on an over under the weekend of, it'll go up like 3 points. So it'll be 55 by Sunday.
Okay. All right, so we'll just preview the week 2 matchups. And real quick, you don't have to explain like 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Okay. Okay, so the first matchup, we already said Saints and Rams. Yesterday was already yesterday was the Buccaneers and the Panthers. So this Sunday we have the Cardinals against the Ravens. I think we all pretty much agree that the Ravens are going to win this game.
Yeah, the Cardinals, their defense looked really sloppy against the Lions, and I feel like the Ravens are going to just completely pick apart that team like they did against Miami. Kyler Murray got off to a really slow start in the first 3 quarters, and super slow. He was having a terrible game. He couldn't even pass it to the lineman. He
got crushed by his own lineman.
He got crushed by his own lineman, and then like 5 passes got batted down by the defensive line. So that height, how tall is he? Like 5'10", 5'10", 5'10".
He's very short. Yeah, but they got it at the end.
Yeah, they get it
fourth
in the
quarters,
end,
and even Cliff Kingsbury said as well, like,
they just
that's the worst he's ever seen.
Yeah.
In an offense, and he blames it on himself with the play calling because nothing offensively was going his way by the time the fourth quarter hit.
Yeah, Baltimore is no Detroit. I mean, Arizona struggled against Detroit. Oh, they're gonna get shredded by Baltimore.
Okay. Next one, the Chargers. I think the Chargers at Detroit. I think it's at Detroit. Oh yeah, it's at Detroit because Cardinals are at Ravens.
Yeah, at Detroit.
Okay, so Austin Eckler had a great game last week against the Colts, and maybe. Oh, I also heard that Melvin Gordon's reported in mid-season that he don't want to bust a Le'Veon.
Yeah.
Since he was just waiting for him to trade him or something to happen, but he's going to be reporting to the Chargers camp by mid-season. But
so the time's clicking for Austin Eckler to be like of some value to the offense, or do you think Melvin Gordon, as soon as he comes back, do you think he's gonna just have the same role he had when he was on the team normally?
I think to me, I would just go with the guy that's been playing since week 1 or something. They have to go like that. You can't just expect, oh, hey, you didn't get your contract, you're coming back. All right, I'm going to start you. I mean, it's not like that if Austin Eckler has been there in the game since week 1.
I completely agree with you, Junior. Plus, I can go a step further. Justin Jackson, I'll pick over Melvin Gordon at this point. Honestly, it's true. I mean, you're not going to – come on. I mean, you're going to reward this guy. He's sitting out, being selfish. I mean, I understand he wants his money. Chargers already made an offer to him. He didn't take it. He was going to be like the third most paid running back, and he still didn't take it. I don't know what his problem is.
Mm-hmm.
I would do that. Yeah. Hey, okay. You wanna be part of this team? Okay. Support your team. We'll get you in when you're needed, and that's it. Take your lashes. Take your lashes like a man. But definitely see the Chargers winning this one.
Yeah, me too. The Lions offensively looked well. And I know it's against the Cardinals, but they used their tight end that I didn't think.
Hawkinson.
Yeah,
well,
they used.
You guys both kind of forgot that Jesse James. Jesse James. He was more of a blocking tight end, kind of like something similar to what's his name? Oh my God, what's his name? I forgot his name. I think he's. What happened?
Who did he play for? The guy that you're thinking of?
I'm thinking of Denver back then. Was Julius?
Julius Thomas.
Julius Thomas. He was kind of mostly used for his blocking, even though he had great hands. But yeah, they looked good against Arizona. But my God, the Chargers looked fantastic, man. Oh my! Like you said, Austin Eckler, also Phillip Rivers, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception, 333 yards. QBR of 121.3. He had an outstanding game, but yeah, I have the Chargers by a country mile.
Do you know if Mike Williams is playing this week? You guys think? Because I know that he suffered an injury.
It says it's knee. He's questionable. Coach Anthony Lynn, he said that it's a game time decision coming up to the matchup. So.
If not, it will be Allen, Benjamin, and then
Inman and Travis Benjamin.
Yeah, they'll still be fine.
Yeah, and Henry. Oh well, not Henry. He got injured. Sorry about that.
Okay, so we all got Chargers in this one.
Yeah, we all got Chargers.
Okay, this is one that goes out. This next game goes out to my dad because he likes this team that I think they're just completely garbage. It's the Titans against the Colts. Titans looked really good. I had to admit it. I'm going by the eye test. Okay. I can't lie. I can't be like, yeah, they played terrible, but yet they ended up winning Cleveland. But yeah, they looked really good. I just, it's just that me and my dad, we have this little thing going on.
So you finally came around, huh?
Not yet. It's barely week 1.
I'm telling you, Tennessee, get on the bandwagon. Join me, son. Seriously. No. These guys are for real. They completely shut down Baker. They did. They completely shut him down defensively. They shut down Chubb. What do you? I mean, at the end, he got garbage yards.
No, I know that, but
he got
when I was watching the game, he couldn't get anything.
And I think I knew what they were doing. I specifically talked to you about this, Junior. I think they really shut down the 2 weapons that Baker Mayfield was actually relying on, which was OBJ and Jarvis Landry in the beginning, because Higgins was the one getting all the receptions. He had like 3 receptions in the first quarter. Higgins did. But that's what I think their mindset was. We shut down the run. We take away his 2 big targets. Let him beat us with a number 3 receiver. And he couldn't do it. And Tennessee was very smart I think that was their formula. I really do, because I noticed that from the very beginning, and that's what I told Vincent when we were watching it. They are taking away OBJ and Landry, and even though they ended up getting good numbers, but Tennessee had already established their lead at the time, and they were like, okay, now we could play zone and let him do whatever,
Right.
you know. But yeah, Mariota, this is a contract year. He hasn't signed it yet, so that's what I'm telling you. He's gonna have his breakthrough season this year. And Indianapolis looked good as well. They did. Unfortunately, they came up a little short on the Chargers. Right on the Chargers, right?
Yeah.
Marlon Mack, he
Went off.
beast.
Mhm.
But I don't see.
T.Y. Hilton double touchdowns in
Yeah,
in that
Ty
game too.
Ty
He's usually
Ty
not a-
did
He's usually not a touchdown machine. He's actually like maybe like 6, 5,
right
7.
for the season.
So yeah.
yeah,
But
yeah.
now he had with him and Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah, you were right.
yeah,
You were
they'll be
right.
fine.
I was a little speculative on that one, but you were right. You were telling me that Brissett and Hilton were a good had a good rapport together. But I'm sticking with my Titans. I'm sticking with the Titans. I gotta. If I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die with them. If they're gonna die, I'm gonna die with them. I see Tennessee beating this. I see this as a nail biter. I do see it as a nail biter. I see it like 24-21, something like that.
Okay.
But I see Tennessee taking it.
Okay. What about you, Vin?
Well, Tennessee, they looked great against the Browns. They completely shut down Baker. You know, like the points you said. I feel like the weakest tight end of that whole entire game was Mariota. You know, when you looked at him in the pocket, he looked messy. But when he's going out of the pocket and he's using his legs, oh my God, he's a better passer on the run than he is in the pocket. But I think that has to do with the offensive line. That offensive line cannot protect Mariota to have like enough time to throw the ball out. So I think that's why he struggles in the pocket. But I don't really see this game close. I feel like the Tennessee defense is going to be overwhelming for the Colts. They did so good against the Browns with their high powered defense. I'm sorry, with the Browns' high-powered offense, but that defense was just amazing. And I think I will see it. The Titans taking it maybe 24-17, 24-17,
By touchdown?
24-14, yeah, by a touchdown or touchdown or field goal.
See, for me, I'm having a hard time choosing between the two.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because that the Titans, I think they just have like, I don't know what was it about. I think they probably have like a better defense, even though that the Colts, last year, they got their shit together at the very end.
At the very end, and they wrote off that.
Yeah, and then but what I saw with that offense, just with Derrick Henry, being Derrick Henry,
Yeah.
and then the Colts, they had to come back from Chargers defense that wasn't even. They were missing with some key players on that defense, but yeah, I'll have to choose the Titans to win this game as well.
Oh, another factor in my opinion is probably the Titans. This is their first game home. It's going to be in Nissan Stadium, and I feel like beating.
They built a new stadium?
I think so. It was probably renamed. I'm not sure. I think they have the same stadium, Nissan Stadium. But going back to my point, yeah.
Oh, the new one?
Yeah, I think
the
they
hell?
renamed it.
Oh, okay. They renamed it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's the home field to be
But
renamed.
going back to the Titans, first game of the season, you're away. You blow a team that people said that had Super Bowl contention at the start of the gate. Man, the crowd's gonna be loud in Tennessee, at least in my opinion. First game home, you're back home. You came out with an impressive win, a big win, I should say, coming out of that. And I feel like this crowd is gonna probably overwhelm the Colts, because they didn't have that environment when they were playing in LA. Chargers play in one of the smallest stadiums, and I feel like doesn't Tennessee have they're top? Yeah, they're gonna be loud.
Yeah.
But
They win this game, they're up 2-0 in their division.
yeah.
All right.
That's true.
Next one, the 49ers against the Bengals. Surprisingly, Andy Dalton just shredded the Seattle defense secondary. Playing like the old Andy Dalton when he was drafted and stuff, and not without AJ Green too. They put up 23 points last week. 23 against Seattle, if you guys know. 20 points against Seattle without AJ Green.
And that fumble, by the way, at the end, I thought it was past
Oh my
incompletion.
God.
I thought it was an incompletion.
Yeah, that was a horrible call.
Oh.
That ended a game, and that's ridiculous. And they even reviewed it. They asked for the replay that replay flag or whatever. It was bad the way that game ended. Cincinnati did not deserve to lose like that because they were right there. They were right like in the red zone, right? They were in the red zone, and oh man, that's a terrible non-call. It was awful. 413 yards by Andy Redhead Dalton, redhead stepchild.
Damn.
Amazing, dude. Yeah, he also turned back the clock, but I don't see the 49ers defense last week. Good Lord. I mean, they had what, 3 picks?
Mm-hmm. Two
They
of them
had
to
3
Sherman, right?
picks, 2 Sherman, and they had a pick 6. 5 sacks.
Quan
Where
Alexander.
is this-
Did Quan
where
Alexander,
is
do
it-
you know if he got ejected last week?
Cornell Alexander didn't.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no. They didn't.
I forgot who.
He didn't. I see Frisco winning this game, unfortunately. It's going to be another loss for Cincinnati. Not unfortunately, I'm sorry. Unfortunately, it's going to be another loss to Cincinnati, but not unfortunately that San Francisco is going to win because I see them, they're a strong contender for a playoff.
They're at
push.
home. The
They-
Bengals.
Yeah, the Bengals aren't home, but
Okay.
that doesn't
Okay.
matter. Frisco, I see them winning this game, and it's not going to be pretty. I think they're going to win by a lot.
Okay.
I feel like Frisco, their defense, I mean, it looked good getting all those turnovers and those sacks, but again, they were playing Tampa Bay. Okay. Jameis Winston is not the best quarterback as regards to pass accuracy. You know?
He's so.
He can throw a million gajillion yards a game, but end up with like 10 interceptions and like no touchdowns, you know? The 49ers offense, Garoppolo, he didn't do so well. 166 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. You know, he did have a good completion percentage, but I mean, it looked really sloppy, you know. But they're also missing Tevin Coleman, who's going to be out for a few weeks. But Matt Breida did do good.
I know their backup running back. It's
Mostert, right?
Moser. Oh, something like that.
Raheem Mostert. Yeah,
Oh, and we get to see Jeff Wilson too. I probably
maybe.
as the third. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll probably see him too in that game.
I don't know. It's really tough. I'm really seesawing between the two. Cincinnati looked good, even though they lost against Seattle.
They
still-
utilized
they
John
s-
Ross
They
too.
still looked good. John Ross, what a game! I'm still speechless on that game. That game came out of nowhere. Everyone thought that it was going to be Boyd who was going to be the man.
Well, yeah, Boyd. Yeah, Boyd is still. I mean,
No, I know
last year they
Boyd-
had the same thing too. John Ross had a game like that last year. Same week 1.
Mhm.
Last year he did the same thing,
Mhm.
and then from there he was just gone.
Yeah, Boyd needs to be more involved. They do if they want to win. He had 7 targets.
He had 8 receptions, but he only had 60 yards.
Yeah,
no,
they
but
gotta-
the targets.
how many targets did
did he
Boyd
have?
have?
10, 11.
No, it doesn't show up.
Well,
Okay,
I
let's
think
see.
even with the 8 receptions, 11
11
targets.
targets.
Okay, that's not bad. But I mean, that's actually really good.
I mean, he wasn't that productive in that Seattle. I don't feel like he was productive in the Seattle game. I think their tight end.
Eifert? Uzma, whatever.
Uzma. I mean, he had a better looking game than him, and I mean, Ross, the way he played, I won't be surprised if they give him the ball as much as they did, because he had 12 targets. He had more targets than
Damn.
than.
So that's what happens when
than-
AJ
than,
Green's out, huh?
Boyd.
I'm
Than-
like,
than
so
Boyd.
that's what happens when AJ Green's out.
Yeah, but he did score those 2 touchdowns. Is Mixon okay?
Yeah,
Mixon's
Mixon's
good to go?
practicing.
Mixon is good to go. All right.
Well, not good. I mean, I'm pretty sure he is good to go, but he's practicing. He was practicing today, I think.
Yeah, but they said that he's not gonna be his typical self. I mean,
Okay, so they're starting-
They're gonna
Limit
cut
him.
back on. They're gonna limit him.
Okay.
They're gonna be. And the coach specifically said less than 20 carries,
Okay.
less than 20
So
touches.
Okay, so Bernard's.
So Bernard would be a
Yeah.
good, a good fantasy pick. Well, we'll get into
We'll
that
get into
later, but you're gonna see a lot of Giovanni Bernard.
Okay. All right. So the Niners. I got the Niners.
What do you think? Over under is 46. What do you think about that?
13-10 watch.
I think it's probably going to be wow, this is actually really tough. Niners and Bengals. You know what, that defense, I feel like for Cincinnati for Frisco, I don't know. That offense by Cincy looked very good. So I think
That's what I said too. Look,
it's
I
gonna
got
be a
offense. Look, Bengals have the good offense over
Okay.
49ers.
Okay.
Okay. And then, but the Niners have a better defense. So I'm going with defense. That's why I got the
Okay.
Niners.
Yeah, you know what? I think I have to go Niners on this one. Even though they're 29th in yard. Well, so far, they only had 264 yards per game. But I feel like that defense is going to look really good against the Niners. Even though they did play Tampa, that defense, still looked great.
Okay, so who are you picking?
So I'm picking the Niners.
Okay, we're all got the Niners.
So, yeah.
Okay. Next one, Jaguars and Texans. Nick Foles is out for at least 6 to 8 weeks. What the new rookie I don't know who's the Minshew. That guy's gonna be starting. That guy's gonna be starting. He did a quote. Someone asked him about like if he was nervous about starting or something, but he quoted Coach Boone from Remember the Titans as that he's ready to go. I guess not intimidated to be starter. He's going against Houston, at Houston. So DeAndre Hopkins is looking forward to going against Jalen Ramsey. Says that that's his favorite corner to play, and he owns him. Yeah, and so we'll see how Jacksonville, how they are under Minshew.
So again, I have to bring out the over under 43 on this game. Not bad. Yahoo, I think this is Yahoo's who they have winning or game picks. They actually have the Texans by 8.5 points.
How the hell do they have them at 8.5 points?
The Texans. The line. It's not bad, but I don't know. Houston looked terrific last game, even though they lost. It was a hell of a drive by Breeze. It was a heck of a drive. You had to go up the field with less than a minute. How many timeouts did he have? He had one timeout? No timeouts?
No, one.
No, he had one.
Mm-hmm.
He had one timeout. He had less than a minute to march up the field and get Lutz into field goal territory. So that's not, it was just a great drive by Breeze. But I think I got the Texans in this one. Watson had a terrific game. 20 for 30 for 268 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 1 pick. Carlos Hyde. Wow, I didn't expect him to do that good. I mean, he had 10 rushes for 83 yards. It's an average of 8.3. He had a great game. Hopkins had another great game on the air. But I feel like the Texans, they're overall just the better team than Jacksonville. And then your starter is out, who I think he was not having a bad game before he was out. I mean, he was 5 of 8 with 1 touchdown and 75 yards. So Foles wasn't like getting off to the bad foot. He was actually having a pretty good game until the collarbone.
Yeah.
But Minshew had a great game. 88% completion percentage. 22 of 25.
He played the second quarter, right? Or
Yeah.
the halftime?
He played second quarter.
Okay.
They brought him in the second quarter. Chark, 146 yards and a touchdown. Wow. But you know what? I feel like that doesn't matter. I feel like Houston's just going to put up way too many points up. They're playing at home. So I think I'm going to give it to Houston.
Okay. Me too. What about you, Pop?
This game is going to be pretty close, I think. I don't think 8.5 sounds about right. Maybe like a touchdown field goal.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only thing is I just feel like Houston needs to protect Deshaun Watson just a little better.
Mm-hmm.
I think I was talking to you before we even started the season. I was telling you that, man, he might be like the next Andrew Luck. Like they got to
I don't want that to happen.
Me neither. He's so fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they just need to protect him a little more. Minshew's not that bad. He did start off He had like a streak of like I think he set the NFL rookie record. I think he had like 13 straight completions. His first 13 straight completions out the gate. Let me just say something real quick. Don't be surprised if Minshew blows this, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you hear something, maybe Jags make a call to Colin Kaepernick.
Oh yeah, and he told me
Okay, I heard
he's
it.
still working
I
out.
heard it through the grapevine.
Mhm.
He's
He's
still
still
working
working
out.
out.
He loves the Florida area. We'll see.
Well, I hope he does come back in the
Yeah,
NFL.
he's gotta
I
come
hope
back.
Some
He's gotta
team
come
has
back.
to call him. I want him. I want to see him play. All right. Next game. Well, next couple games. We'll skim right through them. Vikings and Packers. They got. They're at Lambeau actually, but the last two times that Green Bay's been going against the Vikings, somehow the Vikings are able to shut down Aaron Rodgers, both at home and at Minnesota. So with this new offense, it's still, we saw the offense looking not what's the word I'm looking for? Cohesive, not cohesive against the Bears, but they have another a week to prepare before this game. Last week they had a week to prepare before this game. So I think Stephon Diggs. I heard he got into the injury report this week. Something about I'm not sure if it's his knee or if it's something else. We'll check right now. Stephon Diggs.
Nah, I think he's good to go.
He's good to go, huh?
Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. So between the Vikings and the Packers, I know you like Kirk Cousins, even though, like I did say, Kirk Cousins can win big games, and this is
prime time. This is prime time.
He proved to me last week against Atlanta, because I had Atlanta winning. Even though that 10 attempts.
Yeah, actually, it's not prime time.
No, but like 10 attempts
Uh-huh.
last week. Like I know they want the ball to go to Dalvin Cook, but doesn't that say something to you about like?
Yeah,
10 attempts.
the coach's staff lost trust in Kirk Cousins. I think. I mean, that's that's bottom line.
Mhm.
Either that or they're just run crazy.
I know
but I feel that Kirk Cousins is a good enough quarterback to let him sling it.
Mhm.
But obviously, I'm not a coach, and the coaching staff obviously knows what they're doing. They're experienced. They got the W. So I feel like I love Minnesota this season. I really do. But I think Green Bay and Lambeau, it's a little too difficult. Regardless of, and I understand what you're saying, that the stats that you brought out, that Minnesota did find a way to shut them down.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure
Packers
Rogers and the coaching staff are looking at those specific games and
Mhm.
telling them, okay, don't do that, do this better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I feel Green Bay will come back and get their second dub in this one.
Okay.
I feel like the last game, like you were talking about, the 10 attempts for Kirk Cousins. I feel like Minnesota just took something that was working and they just picked it up and they just kept on going until it didn't work, because the Falcons looked so bad every time Dalvin Cook had the ball in his hands. Okay, he looked terrible. I mean, they looked terrible. The Atlanta defense, they looked really bad. I think Cousins, he was having a good game. Well, he had a good game. I mean, he was 8 of 10, so that's an 80% percentage for 98 yards and a touchdown. So it's not like he was, I don't think it was the coaching staff losing trust in Cousins, because I think he was having a good game. I mean, the box score shows that he was having a good game, but again, they just picked up whatever worked, and they just kept on using it. But yeah, I mean, Green Bay in Lambeau, they're one of the hardest teams to beat in home. The whole atmosphere being in Lambeau Stadium is very difficult. The over-under in this game is 43. That defense, the Green Bay defense,
Mhm.
looked great against Chicago. Even though Mitchell Trubisky looked like a mess, I saw some of the highlights and he looked really bad. Mitchell Trubisky, but
Mhm.
they only held up that offense to three
Three.
points.
Mhm.
They looked great. I feel like Green Bay is gonna win this game. I feel like Minnesota they can't go to Cook like how they did against Atlanta. They just can't do it again. You know, he had 21 attempts. 21 attempts. That's, you know, I think Mattinson behind him had like 8 or 9 behind him, you know. But yeah, I feel like Green Bay, I feel like they're going to take this one. I think they're going to get Rodgers, you know, cuz that Chicago defense was good in that last game as well. So I think Rodgers is going to have a way better game than he did last week.
Yeah.
I just saw a little side note that might change my mind. Nah, I'm kidding.
Uh,
Aaron Rodgers has never won to Kirk Cousins. He has 0 wins, 2 losses, and a draw in his career versus Kirk Cousins.
oh, that
Kirk,
was last year,
Kirk
right?
Cousins, yeah.
Yeah,
I
last
guess
year.
that's the first time
That's-
they played
yeah.
each other.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, quarterbacks head to head.
okay.
Okay. Kirk Cousins averages 380.7 yards per game against Aaron Rodgers or against the Green Bay Packers.
Right.
Okay. 10 touchdowns and 1 pick.
Oh, all of a sudden, he wants to be a beast,
73.3%
But when it
completion
comes
percentage.
to like the Dolphins, he's 10 of 30 for one
Now-
touchdown, 3 picks.
Now, Rodgers, he's not that bad. He's 65.8 completion percentage, 276.7 yards per game, 5 TDs, no picks.
Mhm.
But I'm still picking the Packers,
Right.
but I hope Rodgers gets his first win over Kirk Cousins.
All right, so I got the Packers.
I
You got the
I got
Packers.
the Packers.
So we all got the
We all
Packers.
got the
Okay.
Packers.
All right, next one's Cowboys Redskins. Now, not this much game to talk about because the Redskins are fucking terrible. But the only one reason why I want to talk about this game is because of one player. No, it's not Dak. No, it's not Amari. No, it's not. No, it's not Vern Davis. No, it's not.
Jordan Reed.
Michael Gallup. Yes, the guy that I said that I told you guys that he was gonna have a breakout season. Vinny thought he was gonna bust again,
Yeah, I did.
and I was so right, and he was so wrong. I love Michael Gallup. Michael Gallup with Dak Prescott. Kellen Moore calling the offense. He looking like a pizza boy. You know, he made Dak great, which I already know Dak was great, but he just made him look great, I guess you
Yeah.
could say. Having him involved with all these receivers, with Michael Gallup, Amari Cooper, who's the third receiver?
Gallup.
No, the other receiver.
Oh, Cobb.
Cobb.
Randall
Okay, I
Cobb.
forgot. And Cobb also got involved
Oh
in
my
that game.
God, Cobb was sick.
Right?
He turned back the clock like 20 years, man.
Right?
That fool looked good. You know what? You're right. He made him look like a max contract player.
Yes.
Okay, and this kid, he lit it up. He lit it up, dude,
Mhm.
and that was awesome because, you know, the Giants. I think they knew right away the Giants were going to concentrate on stopping Zeke.
Mhm.
And man, they took advantage of it. That was a great display of the Cowboys. I am such a Cowboy hater, but you know what? I am on a little bit of a bandwagon with the Dallas Cowboys. They're fun to watch.
Yes.
I mean, they are awesome to
Yes,
watch.
Dak.
I had so much. I was watching the game, and I just couldn't take my eyes off it.
Me
This
either.
guy
Yeah.
was, wow, he was lights out.
Yeah.
Cowboys for sure taking this one. No question
Yeah.
about it. If they do the aerial attack again, great. If they do it on the ground, great. I don't care. I'm watching that game this week anyway, so I'm good. Dallas all the way.
Me too.
I feel like this game is going to be a little bit closer than the Giants one. That because with the Cowboys play, that Giants game was a complete blowout. You know, Dallas, Dak Prescott, 25 of 32, 405 yards and 4 touchdowns. So he had a heck of a game. Michael Gallup, 7 receptions, 158 yards. So he had a terrific game. I was wrong. I don't know what to say.
Wow.
I don't know what to say.
Thank you. Because I was right.
Another guy had a terrific game. Jason Witten. He had a touchdown. So
Took that year off working out. Boom, there you go.
He took the year off in the commentator's booth. Realized he was like, you know what, this is not for me. I'm actually surprised that he didn't join Kellen Moore on the coaching staff. But he did have a touchdown pass. 4 different Cowboy receivers had touchdown passes.
That's good.
Cooper, Cobb, Jarwin, and Witten all had touchdown receptions. Ezekiel Elliott, he had a really productive game, 53 yards off 13 rushes and 1 touchdown. I have this little thing with Ezekiel. He doesn't score a lot for some reason, but I feel like he's off to a good start. He has the first game of the season, he got 1 touchdown. He had 6 touchdowns last season. Aaron Jones had more. Philip Lindsay had more. I think Josh Allen, the quarterback, he had more than Ezekiel Elliott, But this game's going to be close. Washington looked fantastic against the Eagles until, the Eagles finally said, all right, enough screwing around.
Yeah, Carson Wentz was like, oh, shit,
they
I
got
got
it
a
together.
over $100 million extension. I
Yeah.
got to play like one.
That was another guy.
Yeah.
See? That was another guy.
Yeah, he had to get it together. Case Keenum, I did not expect him to have the game he did.
With a bunch of no-name receivers.
30 of 44, 380 yards, 3 touchdowns. The running game was god awful for the Redskins as well. Geis is now hurt. I believe he's hurt, right?
He's on injury reserve.
He's on the injured reserve. So Christian Thompson and
Adrian Peterson
have to come in and save the Redskins
franchise
running game. But guys like Vernon Davis came up. Even Terry McLaurin, who I didn't even know he existed on any roster, because I didn't think anybody would have the name Terry McLaurin, But but 125 yards for 5 receptions and 7 targets and a touchdown. So he completely lit it up. But I feel like it's gonna go to Dallas again. Dallas, they just completely blew out the Giants, and I feel like they're just gonna play the same way they did, share the ball. Because, man, it worked so well against the Giants. So
Yeah.
I have the Cowboys.
Is the Cowboys? I'm just looking forward to that Cowboys and Eagles matchup. The way how the Cowboys played last week, and the way how the Eagles in the second half came back from a 17-point deficit.
Yeah.
I really cannot wait to see them play. Okay, just real quick, we'll go with 1, 2, 3. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 games right away. We'll just All right, Steelers and Seahawks.
I think I'll take the. I think the Steelers are gonna start 0-2.
You think so?
I think the Steelers are gonna start 0-2 to start the season.
That'd be great for me because Russell Wilson is my guy for this year.
I don't think so. I think the Steelers were humiliated last week, and I think they're taking it very personal. So I feel like they're gonna take it out in Seattle.
Okay. Well, I want to go with the Steelers, but I think Russell Wilson has a good game. I think Juju has a good game, and I think finally Vance McDonald will be the number 2 receiver for. They're trying to figure that out. Yeah, with Moncrief and Washington. So.
Yeah, he was very quiet in the last.
Until garbage time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Bills and Giants.
Oh wow! I didn't think you'd actually bring up this game.
I'll actually pick the Bills in this one.
I'll actually pick the Bills too.
I like Josh Allen a lot.
The Bills, they didn't look that bad against the Jets, considering where their team's at, But I think I'm gonna take the Bills over under 44.
The Bills just stay there on vacation for for 2 weeks. They're at MetLife again.
Really?
Yeah.
Buffalo for me, unfortunately, because they're going to be tied with us for first place. So
that's true. Yeah. Speaking of that, Patriots and Dolphins.
Yeah, they're going to be tied with us for first place.
Yep.
Of course, New England, Miami's tanking. Side note, Minka
Fitzpatrick, I want him.
He's looking for a trade. And they allowed it. Miami's allowing them to look.
Well, come over here to New England, bro.
I saw a few years ago, people were reacting to Doug Peterson's hiring for the Eagles. They said it the worst coaching hiring ever because he had no NFL experience. I think Doug Peterson didn't really have much experience, but I feel like picking what was his name for the
Brian Flores.
Brian Flores. That is the worst coaching hire I've ever seen. That's awful. I don't. I
see, and this is why when they say,
but freaking Miami, it's
in
Miami.
And you
That's
see,
scary.
this is the reason why how people like NFL fans, they'd be like, well, Brady's in this easy division. It's not really his fault. It's
Yeah.
they
The
just
teams
all
just
these
don't know
three
what to
teams with
do.
the Bills, the Jets, and the Dolphins. They just reboot,
Yeah.
rebuild.
There's no real structure to the rebuilding. You know, they think they can sign the biggest star and that's the end of their rebuild when it's not.
Exactly, and
You
it's
have
not
to
like
rebuild
that.
from the ground up. You know, like the Jets signing Le'Veon. That's just a waste of money, and you need.
Adam
to
Gase didn't
rebuild
even
again.
wanted that.
Yeah, and Adam Gase didn't want that, but man, the Dolphins looked so bad against Baltimore. I feel like that's gonna carry, and the Patriots looked really good with against the Steelers.
Without AB.
They spanked the Steelers, man. They spanked them. I'm being serious.
Here's the thing. Last week,
They killed them.
Last week, dude, Dad predicted that 33-8
Yeah.
or 33-14.
I thought it was gonna be much
okay.
closer, Dad.
Dad was right.
Dad was right.
I thought it was closer.
Don't even
I
put the
thought it was
14 in
closer.
there. I said 38-10.
You said,
Not
Ben,
14.
You said 14.
It might have been 14. 38-10. I said.
Yeah,
30
rookie Madden mode.
33-3 is good enough.
Yeah,
Rookie Madden mode, all of the
all
sliders
the way.
up,
Yep.
everything's up, but
Thank you.
well, wow, they just completely spanked them. Steelers looked awful, but that doesn't matter. I feel like the Dolphins looked way worse than the
Yeah,
Steelers.
they're gonna get a blowout.
So
59-0 watch. By
They
halftime, like the
actually-
Titans.
the over/under in this game is 48, and they have
Mostly all those
they have the
48. Yeah,
Patriots-
48 to New England.
they have the Patriots. They have the Patriots by 18 points, 18 and a half points. So I think I'm gonna have to give it to New England. There's no way you're losing to Miami with the team this bad. At least last year, Miami, they had some high points. You know, I think they started the season 3-0.
Oh yeah, and then they came back to reality.
And then they came back to reality, but they finished like 7-9.
7-9.
So they weren't like terrible. They were just mediocre. You know,
I was telling Dad like
and that
we see this
horrendous
game.
play in the end. You know?
We see this game between them two, between the Steelers and New England. It's a blowout. And then I called them up about the game,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm not gonna be surprised if we fucking lose to the Dolphins, something like that.
Yeah.
Chiefs and Raiders. Now here's the thing about this game. I have this feeling. I've been having this feeling ever since that Monday Night Football game. Okay, I think the Raiders will upset the Chiefs this week. Now I want to be right. Okay, but on paper, the Chiefs. Come on, they have a ridiculous offense. Adding LaShawn McCoy had a good game, but he was outsnapped with He was outsnapped by Damian Williams by double.
It was 13. He had 13. Masham McCoy had 10.
No, not attempts. The snaps, the snap
snaps.
percentage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah. But then when I looked at that Raiders, with the way how the Raiders play against Flacco, I already know how Joe Flacco is, and the way how the Chiefs Mahomes got pretty much dismantled by the Jacksonville defense. There's just like, I just have this feeling that the Raiders are gonna win. I want to be right, but I just know that on paper, like Chiefs will beat.
Did you just
the
say
Raiders.
Mahomes got?
Yeah, he got his ankle rolled and then.
Oh, okay,
and all
I
that
was talking
stuff.
about that, but he had a terrific game, even though on one ankle.
Yeah, I know.
But I feel like the ankle injury is kind of gonna bother him. Tyreek Hill got injured. He's gonna be out for 3 weeks.
6 weeks.
6
I
weeks.
heard 6 weeks.
Oh wow, I didn't.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, the last time I heard of the injury report, it said I'll be out in a few games.
No.
So it looks like it's 6 games.
Yeah.
But Sammy Watkins came out of nowhere.
The Lizard King.
Sammy Watkins, 9 receptions, 198 yards, and 3 touchdowns. So he's the number 1 target for the next game, not a doubt. I still feel like they're going to give the ball a lot to Kelsey. But
I hope so.
I think this is going to be kind of a cakewalk for
Kansas City.
Kansas City. I think so. I think it's going to be a cakewalk.
All right, what about you, Pop? Same thing.
KC very strong. Oakland very weak against the tight end.
Mm-hmm.
So you're gonna Travis Kelsey is gonna see a lot of targets.
Mhm.
So their core is just too strong. They're receiving, their backs, their quarterback, they're deep, dude. So yeah, definitely KC. Even their defense is good this year. Their defense didn't look too bad, even though they did allow 26 points, but they weren't bad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
The over/under on this game, the Chiefs Raiders,
Mhm.
53
Damn.
in the 50s.
So they're predicting a high scoring game between the two.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just gonna pick the Raiders because I'm gonna go with my gut feeling. I've been
Okay.
having, I've been having the feeling ever since I told you about it, Pop. So I'm gonna stick
Yeah.
with it. I hope it does. You know, I want that number 1 seed this year.
Yeah.
Okay, we already talked about the Saints and Rams. We all picked the Saints.
Chicago, Denver.
Chicago, Denver.
Mhm.
I'm gonna go with Denver just because they're at home,
Mhm.
and Mitch Trubisky has never been. I don't think he's never been to
He hasn't. He's never been to
in the Mile High. Yeah, so I'm gonna go with Denver here.
This is I wouldn't say like a key game, but these are both potentially turnaround games for both teams.
Both 0-1.
Both
Both
0-1. Both 0-1. Both looked bad on their week 1 games. Denver looked. I don't know what happened to that team. They completely got swallowed up and chewed out by or spit out by the Raiders and the Bears. They looked really like messy
On
against-
offense,
on offense. But I feel like it's gonna be the Bears, even though Fig Vaggio facing his former team, the head coach of the Broncos, facing against his old team. But Joe Flacco didn't convince me that he can
Win
not-
games.
Not that he can't win games. That he's not performing. A lot of the numbers came up from garbage time when the game was already over. 21-31 for 1 touchdown and 268 yards. I mean, those sound like garbage time numbers to me.
Yeah.
You know, the first half was horrendous.
You can
for
even
me.
see it in the
Yeah,
game.
you
You
watched.
even see it.
Yeah.
If you watch the game, yeah.
I watched the first half
Yeah,
and they were
they
scoreless
didn't do
in the
anything.
the first half. But Chicago, I feel like they're gonna bounce back. I feel like they're still trying to figure out who to use in the backfield. You know, Tariq Cohen, not one rush out of the backfield. It was
I don't think he's
all-
not going to be in the backfield.
It was
I think
all-
he's starting. He's going to be in the slot more. I think they're
Yeah.
going to utilize him as a receiver.
So it's either gonna be they're either gonna figure out for David Montgomery and Mike Davis who's gonna be the number 1 back, you know. But I still have Chicago. That defense still looked terrific against Aaron Rodgers and,
Yeah.
and the Packers. I mean, I'm just gonna take it.
Yeah, Denver looked horrible. Chicago, easy win.
Okay. So Chicago, and I got Denver.
Mhm.
All right, Sunday night game, Eagles, Falcons.
Great.
This game is a must-win for Atlanta. They cannot go 0-2. This game, they have to win. They have to beat the Eagles for them to be in even. It's pretty early, but yeah, 0-2, trying to make it to the playoffs after that. So I'm gonna go with. Man, the Eagles got Atlanta's number for the past 2 years.
Yeah,
For the-
that's actually true.
Yeah.
Most of those wins have come off primetime, by the way.
Yeah. You know what? Third time's a charm. I'm gonna go with Atlanta this week. And
And then
Julio
it-
Jones gets the game-winning touchdown.
Since the playoff, since all these divisional started back in like the 70s,
Mm-hmm.
only 12% of NFL teams that start 0-2
0-2
have made the playoffs. Unfortunately, Atlanta's going to be one of those. I'm going to take Philly.
You gonna take Philly? Okay.
I don't want to be over dramatic. I am an Atlanta fan, so yeah. But Atlanta, they looked terrible against Minnesota. They flat out looked so bad. They couldn't even stop. They couldn't stop the running game at all. Throughout the whole game, Dalvin Cook was just walking all over them. They looked so messy. They looked so soft. Ryan's numbers are inflated because of garbage time. I mean, 33 of 46, 304 yards, 2 TDs, 2 picks. He had 2 picks to start the first half. You know, so he didn't have a good game up until the game was already over.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia had a comeback in that game against Washington. It was a great performance. That whole team just looked good. Deshaun Jackson looked terrific. 154 yards for 8 receptions, 2 TDs. But I feel like, I think the Falcons are gonna go 0-2, even though they are playing at home. The over/under on this game is 52. So I think I have Philly on this one.
Philly, and I got Atlanta. All right, Monday night, the final game, Browns and Jets. We already talked about how Sam Darnold's already out for a couple of weeks with mono. So it's these two teams are 0-1, but to me, the Browns need a must-win in this one because I'll tell you why. Because a lot of people were come on, you have Odell and Jarvis Landry, Nick Chubb coming out from a great second half of his rookie year.
Yeah.
This is a must-win game because of expectations. That's why I think the Browns need to win, because everybody's all talking about not even myself, because I don't think they're not even ready to be a Super Bowl contender team.
Mm-hmm.
I think they could make the playoffs.
Yeah, me too.
But not as like AFC title game or but playoffs. Yeah, start like that. Win your division first.
Yeah.
Okay, win your division first,
and then we can.
Then you guys could talk about playoffs.
Yeah.
Okay. But to me, this is a must-win game for the Browns.
Yeah.
Against they don't have Sam Darnold, and
Mhm.
that's what sucks because I really wanted to see Darnold and Baker again.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of expectations for this Browns team, even though they've had years of just
terrible years.
Terrible years. I think I saw the stat last 2 years, they were like one win and like
30-something losses
and one tie, so they've been bad. And to start your season at home with the crowd behind you, and you get blown out by a team that didn't even make the playoffs last season, it was embarrassing. That whole game was embarrassing. 18 penalties. They gave up 18 penalties, almost 200 yards in penalties.
Oh, my Lord.
I think they had more yards penalties than Mariota had passing yards. I think
passing yards.
Dude, they looked bad. Cleveland, they looked bad. They looked undisciplined. I'm not saying that they're dirty. It's not that they're dirty per se. I feel like they were just undisciplined. They were just upset or frustrated that they were just getting blown out, But yeah, I mean we got a backup quarterback coming in for the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully Cleveland can win. I do have Cleveland winning. I'm praying that this is a cakewalk, if they can get the hype going again, like in the beginning of the season, because I like it when teams are hyped, like as much as the Browns are, seeing if they prevail or they fail, seeing that kind of hype. But yeah, but they like you said, it has to be a must win
again.
A bounce back.
Dad disagrees on this one. Can't wait to hear it.
Junior, you're talking about Cleveland Browns win your division before anything. How about win a game before anything? I mean, these guys are 0-1.
That's what I'm saying.
I know, mijo. I couldn't agree with both of you guys more. Everything that you guys say, right on point. The Browns need to win this game. They do. And just to let you know, Junior, I did get it wrong. It's actually 12% who make the playoffs, not don't make the playoffs.
Oh, make
so
the playoffs.
12%, that's very little.
Okay.
When you start 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to be one of those teams that starts 0-2 because only 12% since the merger of the NFL, AFL, the 1970. That's it. Since then is when this stat has been. Yeah, okay. 12% when you start 0-2. Browns got to win. They don't have Darnold, which is unfortunate. I agree with you completely. I would have loved to see Darnold versus Big Bake. But yeah, if they perform the same way they did last week, they won't even beat the Jets with a backup quarterback. They got to step up their game, and we all know they're capable of doing it. They got the talent. They just got to
execute.
Better play calling. I don't know what it was. I don't know what it was, but they got to start. They got to stop. Just stop being.
Beating themselves.
Yeah. They got to do something. Yeah, but
see,
I do have Cleveland though.
Okay. Cleveland. Okay. See, there's only 4 teams in my opinion that have to they're must-win games. It's the Browns, Atlanta, the Bears, and the Steelers, because they cannot, because those teams are playoff teams, like playoff caliber teams.
Yeah.
They cannot go 0-2 and think that you're going to win, get into a streak, because it all depends on how hard your schedule is.
Same thing with the Browns, 0-2, and remember, we both picked these teams to win their division.
No, I did. I picked Pittsburgh.
Oh, you picked Pittsburgh. Okay,
I have Browns in the wild card.
I picked them to win a division. I feel like No, Cleveland. I had Cleveland winning the division. So I definitely do not want them to start 0-2.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna be okay. I picked Baltimore to win that
Oh yeah, that's
division.
right. Huh?
Um,
You're gonna be fine.
uh, but the good thing about this, Junior, is this, dude. In my opinion, just to close it off on this, I think it would be okay for these teams to start 0-2, because I would like to see new teams. I understand what you're saying. Pittsburgh is a playoff contender, and Atlanta, they're always there.
Yeah.
But hey, I want to see Oakland. I want to see the Raiders. I would like to see Washington. I would like to see these new teams.
But would
like,
you want to see them on
of
TV?
course not.
Oh,
But I
there you
mean,
go. Thank you.
but I mean, I like to see Buffalo. Buffalo's pretty all right.
I
I
already
wouldn't
saw him
mind.
like 2 years ago. Or last year?
Well,
2 years ago? I don't
2
know.
years ago, yeah, with
Jacksonville.
Taylor, right?
Tyrod
With
Taylor. Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, that opens the doors to these other teams that haven't been there in a while and whatnot. But yeah, it would be sad. It would be a disappointment not to see these teams. But you know what?
Fuck it.
Maybe that means that they need reconstruction. They
Yeah,
need to do,
that's-
they get some new players, get some new coaches.
Yeah.
So that's my opinion.
Okay. So one last thing before we wrap it up already, pun intended. Get it? Rap, sports rap. Yeah.
Sports rap.
So we all like to play fantasy football, and my dad wanted to do some.
Yeah, I wanted just to get one player,
okay.
that totally surprised us, and from this past week of fantasy. I know it's week 1, and everybody's like, "Hey, get off the hype," and it's only week 1, whatever. But I love fantasy, and we all do. So I just wanted to see what player for you guys really stepped up and actually not stepped up, actually surprised you. I want to see like who you didn't expect to get these numbers, and not only didn't expect it, you have to make it like to where you didn't expect it, and you, because of what they did, you could see it being regular, like on a regular basis.
Consistency.
Yeah, not like
Okay.
one miracle game. Because in my opinion, I'm going to give you an example.
Hollywood
John
Brown?
Ross, that's
Oh.
a miracle game.
Okay.
He's not going to have a game like that again. Maybe 1 or 2 more,
Yeah.
but not like that. So would you want to start it off? Do you want me to start it off? I already have mine.
Well, Vinny,
I have mine ready.
Okay,
go ahead.
let Vinny shoot it.
My initial nominee was actually to go to Chark Jr. from the Jaguars, but like you said, with the one-off thing, you for sure it's not gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen again. I mean, he was riding off just 2 plays that are 2 balls that were just launched deep, on the other side of the field, and he just came up with them. He only had 4 receptions and he only had 4 targets.
yeah, that's all you
know.
need really. Just one long ball and then one
But
play,
I
one
feel
play.
like-
I'm just saying, do you think it's going to be consistent?
Okay, the guy that I'm now picking,
Since he said that,
since he said that,
which he already did.
no, I
Vin.
know, I know. I was gonna say my other point, but a guy that I was actually really impressed and I didn't see coming, but I see it throughout the season is probably Sammy Watkins.
That shit, nobody didn't see that.
No one saw this coming. Sammy Watkins. He almost had 200 yards. He was just 2 yards away from having 200 yards, and 2 TDs, by the way, too. So, a terrific game by Sammy Watkins. Tyreek Hill is going to be out, so that's going to be a lot of productivity, a lot of targets for Sammy. They kind of play identical. They're both deep threat receivers, which I think that's is part of Patty Mahomes' success as well. He's got one of the best deep threats in the NFL, and he has Kelsey as his blanket. So I think that's why the Chiefs are so good. But Sammy Watkins, I feel like he's gonna have that success probably throughout the injury of Tyreek Hill.
So this is what I'm saying. This is what you're saying. Sammy Watkins is your pick. So you would pick him up if you had a chance in your fantasy team, and you'd play him every day. I mean, every week.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what the point I'm trying to make. That's
Oh, okay.
that's who
Then
we're
I
picking.
already got mine.
Okay, shoot it.
It's Darren Waller.
Darren Waller of
Yes,
the Oakland
and you
Raiders.
and you know this, Pop. Because we do like the breakout league that we got, right?
We have just to let everybody know, we have a league that we're in. Me and Junior. We went on ahead and drafted on a league that had already 10 teams, and we drafted just the craziest draft I think in the
Yeah, it
history
was.
of all drafts.
Yeah.
But me and him are the only 2 people that know what's going on. we drafted players that we think that are gonna have breakout years, and we set rules for each other. We couldn't draft from a certain point to a certain point as far as ADPs, and he did end up drafting Waller
because you
And-
got Vance McDonald.
That's correct.
who I
you
believe
originally
that was
wanted.
my original until you took him, and then I picked up. I told you, don't worry, I got another one.
Okay.
And then probably in the 13th round, 14th round, that's when I got Darren Waller.
And what impressed you about Waller this week?
His involvement in the offense without AB there, even though I had picked him while AB was still in camp.
Right.
But if it's just that, sources, Matthew Berry during that combine, during the combine, he went up to offensive coordinator Greg Olson, just told him, who's your sleeper, in the offense, and Greg Olson,
They all like Waller.
they all liked Waller. So I went with it. So I was like, hey, I've been hearing about the good stuff about Darren Waller. And what do you know? He put up 14 points, 7 receptions over 70 yards, and I would play if I was thin, very thin. If I didn't get the three kings and tight ends, okay.
You're talking about
I'm talking
Kelsey,
Ertz,
and Kittle.
Okay. And then, you still wanted to go deep in wide receiver in the bench or running back on the bench. So you missed out on O.J. Howard, Evan Ingram, those guys. Hunter Henry. I would pick up Darren Waller right now. That's who I would start him every week just because of how I know that he's going to be involved into this offense. No AB there. So they got Tyrell Williams. Renfro, Josh Jacobs in the backfield. So, yeah, I would start Darren Waller. I love him. I love Darren Waller.
For me, I got to go with the kid. I got to go with Hawkinson of Detroit. TJ Hawkinson.
Okay.
This guy is going to have a monster year. And you know what? The funny thing is, Vincent, I was surprised you didn't get him. I was surprised you didn't pick him right now because you were all over him way before when he was drafted. I remember we were watching the draft together. And I said, "Fuck, too bad for this guy." Hawkinson.
We wanted him too.
Yeah, we
wanted him.
And I was like telling Vincent, "Too bad for this cat because
he's with Detroit.
he's
we
gonna
saw
be
with Eric Ebron. We saw
and
what
then
happened with
when
Eric
they picked
Ebron.
up Jesse James,
Mhm.
I was like, "Oh, this kid is not going to start." Vincent was the one telling me, "No, Dad, he's going to start. He may not." And I go, "No, he's not going to start." I kind of convinced him that he was not going to start.
Yeah, because I thought that too.
Yeah, and then
Jesse,
he was like,
yeah.
"Okay, if he doesn't start, he's going to catch passes. Jesse James is not going to do anything. He's a pass blocker, like he said earlier in the show. He's more of a pass blocker than anything." He had 25 points this week, and I think if I remember correctly, a few years back before Galladay, Matthew Stafford was a tight end quarterback. He loved tight ends, just like Flacco. He loves his tight ends. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to get Ebron in the same picture as he was last year. Last year, it was a miracle year for Ebron. Andrew Luck. But Matthew Stafford loved passing the ball to his tight ends. This guy he's fast. He's big and fast, and I like him. And I think, unfortunately, I think for those fantasy holders that have Galladay or have any other receiver in the Detroit Lions, they are gonna lose so many targets because this kid. I think he's going to become sooner or later. He might be his number one. I'm not. I don't want to say that because Galladay is so good and so talented, but man, he put up some monster numbers. I gotta say, if Hawkinson were available, which he isn't anymore because of week 1, and if I was in a tight end league, unfortunately, our league is not tight end, but I would definitely pick him up.
Yeah,
I would have.
This is and also
start him every day.
This is a full PPR that we're talking about. So if you see Darren Waller with like 12 something, it's probably half PPR, but we're playing full PPR.
Yeah.
So 7 receptions, 7 points. He had 70 yards.
Correct.
Equal to total 14 points.
You're right.
And stuff. Vinny, is there anything you have before we go?
No.
No? All right. So that's it. Just subscribe, comment on, on the news that happened. Your favorite matchups, like your favorite winners are going to be. And, hopefully you guys will take our fantasy football waiver wire pickups. But
if they're available.
if they're
still,
available, yeah.
Pick them up.
Yeah. Okay, so we also have a Instagram sports rap page. You could just follow on Instagram at sports rap with Gil and Vin. And, my Instagram and Twitter, GilGuido12. Vinny, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Supersonics20.
Like that, right? Because I try to look for you and I still can't find you.
No, Supersonics20, all lowercase. No underscore, no
anything
periods,
like
no nothing.
nothing
Just
fancy.
Nothing fancy. Just Supersonics20 all together lowercase.
All right. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week.
All right.
Thanks
Good
for
night,
enjoying the
everybody.
show.